Recently, there's been a lot of talk about using AI, specifically ChatGPT 3, to create content more efficiently, more quickly. While many of my digital marketing peers are exuberant over the idea of using ChatGPT 3 or machine learning to speed up production without sacrificing any of the quality. And some SEOs are fearful that AI is going to take our jobs because content quality is going to be so vastly superior that many of us are going to be out of jobs. I, on the other hand, am taking a more tempered view of ChatGPT 3 and AI for content creation in general. And I think that there's going to be a place for human creation and human expertise for a long time to come. And in this video, I want to lay out the reasons why I believe that, and also why for the foreseeable future, our company is still going to lean on human intelligence, human expertise, and learned experience to create content for our clients, and why we're making that decision. My name is John Locke, and I've been publishing videos on digital marketing, SEO, and web design for about 9 years now. For the past several weeks, as we close out 2022 and as we enter 2023, my Twitter feed, my LinkedIn feed, my Slack channels that I lurk in have been awash with other digital creators showing off the marketing copy, sales copy, and just general content that they've been creating with ChatGPT 3. I'm not so sold on it as being able to fool a human, and I'm not the only one that feels this way. As a matter of fact, there are a lot of SEOs out there that feel that AI content creation, machine learning written content creation is just not quite there yet. It's getting closer, definitely. But first, let's talk about how content is created with machine learning. So basically, it is a machine learning process where the computer takes prompts that a human puts in and creates content. Either it remixes AI images, that's a whole can of worms in itself, or it creates written content based on the prompts that a human is typing into it. And the content that I have seen people sharing online has what one person called, I wish I could remember who this was and give them credit, but it gives the shape of an answer, but not necessarily the expertise and the fluency, the authority of a real answer. It gives the shape of an answer. And this is a lot of the content that I've seen people sharing when it comes to GPT-3 showing off. So a lot of the times you'll ask it a question and it will give you like a reverse answer. Yeah, some of the answers that it gives back are kind of wooden and clunky, and they just generally don't sound like a human being would talk in real life. So let's say, for example, you're wanting to write some basic marketing copy. That might be fine if you're just trying to speed up the process and you can't write from your own expertise. I have seen lots of people sharing this type of content where it basically you're wanting to do like a Q&A and you're just putting that information out there. So the machine learning, basically it takes a whole ton of content that's related to that subject, and through the models that is continually training on, it'll basically spit out an answer. The copy that I've seen, some of it is passable if it's not for high level stuff, if it's just for like basic marketing copy that reads the same on everybody's site. That's basically what it's pulling from. So it basically looks at examples of that same type of content and then just basically remixes it. And if you're using ChatGPT 3 only for that type of application, that might be okay. And you're basically churning out marketing copy that people just glance at. They're not really analyzing it that deep anyway. Now, some of the things that really concern me a lot about how people are proposing to use this. They're proposing to create affiliate marketing pages or create like whole sites that answer questions about things like health or legal issues or churning out legal documents. And as I saw one person propose this today, that you could just churn out a whole bunch of legal documents and then have a lawyer review them for $50 and then you've got a website. And that's not going to happen. A lot of these situations, it's just not going to be feasible to use these subjects that are what Google considers your money or your life. And that is a thing that is defined in their quality rater guidelines. The content that directly affects your health, your finances, your well-being, that sort of content is going to be held to a higher standard. And if you're using something like machine learning, ChatGPT-3, or AI content to create that sort of thing and spit it back out, for one, you're going to get some inaccurate answers. Two, it's not going to be as high quality as you think. And you being a marketer, you're thinking in that way. And you're thinking that it's going to save you time if you have these types of clients. You can just churn this content out using a program. I'm here to tell you that that's not going to work. And there are many industries where that information, that content, that base content that the program is using to remix content, there's not enough of it out there to effectively remix into answers that are accurate and that human beings will accept as accurate and that Google will accept as accurate. Now, this is one thing that a lot of people they're so blown away by ChatGPT-3 that it gives content that sounds kind of passable. It sounds good as long as it's really basic stuff that you're asking it. Nothing that involves human expertise on a high level whatsoever, though, what I recommend it for, because it does sometimes give inaccurate answers. Like I mentioned before, Google is the pioneer in this. The Transformers, the GPT, T is the Transformers part. Google has been a pioneer in this. They've had research in this. They've had the brightest minds in the planet working on this stuff. The BERT algorithm change, the bidirectional encoded transformers, that is something that they did 3 years ago. They have already been working on this. They pioneered the natural language API, all sorts of things that they've been working on. Their algorithms are more advanced than ChatGPT-3 is at detecting AI content. Now, very recently, they had the helpful content update, which rolled out. This update, it rewards content where users feel like they had a more satisfying experience and rewards content where people feel like they got the information that they were looking for. Now, I don't know about you, but I have looked at some of the content that ChatGPT-3 has churned out, and when you put it side by itself, it looks okay. For stuff that doesn't require a lot of human accuracy or a lot of human expertise, for basic stuff where there's mountains of content like that on the web. But for a lot of things where accuracy is indeed of primary importance and people can discern whether this is AI content written by a machine or it's written by a human being, a lot of times content that has been professionally written by a human being with legitimate expertise, earned expertise, and experience in that field, it's going to read a lot better. It's going to be more accurate. And this helpful content update is going to push that type of content to the top of search rankings. Now, you might think, and I know a lot of marketers and I know a lot of people who are entrepreneurial in spirit, they are thinking in one term and one term only to make production of content faster. They can outsource it to the machine. They don't need to even outsource it to anyone else. They don't need to hire anyone. They can lay people off. They don't need human beings to look at this and provide their own perspective of what sounds right or what is right. But I got a bone to pick with you when it comes to that. I think that you are overestimating not only the machine's accuracy, but I think that you are underestimating your audience's ability to discern whether that content is good and whether it sounds like it's written by a machine. Because a lot of times when you put it side by side with something that's written by a human being, the difference is very stark. So I'm going to refer to something that my colleague Todd Jones wrote, and he says, I quote, I have built websites, written articles, content marketing, managed social media, written website copy, and just about anything else in digital marketing. And one thing is the same. They all need research. They need to start with research. They do better with research. Research. And that is my friend Todd Jones. I happen to agree with that. For a lot of subjects, a lot of content matter, this is the way. This is still going to be the true way. If you want to use machine learning, if you want to use ChatGPT 3 to turn out boring copy that you don't really care about, yes, feel free to do that. But for blog articles that require research in order to rank, and again, remember that Google says they want to rank articles that add something extra from all the other content out there. So original research, original insight, expertise, personal experience, value add. So things that cannot be easily duplicated by a machine. Now, I wanted to talk about one very big reason why I am very cautious about relying on so-called AI content. One thing that it does very well, which is a negative effect, it amplifies human biases. So when I talk about human biases, what do I mean? All the things like racism, sexism, Islamophobia, homophobia, stereotypes, all these tropes, they are amplified by your AI content. Now, you can Google it yourself. There are plenty of examples. Let's say, for example, if we're talking about terrorism, if we're writing an article on terrorism, it automatically jumps to centering Muslim people as terrorists. That is a complete stereotype. And this is just one example of many, many ones where AI content just falls short. And it could be very offensive. It could be harming your lead generation. It could be harming your things. And this is just one example of many. Now, when it comes to AI image generation, this is a whole other controversial subject as well. A lot of artists are upset. People who are having their art fed into these machines without their consent, without their will, and their art is basically being stolen and remixed. And all these pictures where you see people portraying, they upload your selfies and then you're portrayed as a character from Game of Thrones, or you're a king or a princess, or you're a superhero or whatever. These things are just copying and pasting your face into somebody else's art. That's basically what's happening. And in fact, there are many instances where the artist's signature is showing up in these AI generated images. And it's just basically, it's a way to exploit human creativity without compensating the original artists. And I predict that probably in the very near future, this is just a prediction, this hasn't happened yet, but I predict that there are probably going to be lawsuits. People's art, their entire catalogs have been fed into these machines, stolen without their consent. They're not being compensated for their art, and these software companies are profiting off of it. And you are uploading all your selfies and your personal data, and you're signing off your private information to these companies as well, so that's getting taken. But these artists should get paid, and they should get compensated for their work. And it's not that expensive to actually go hire somebody on Fiverr or at a comic convention off of Instagram and pay them to create a fantasy image of you if that's what you would like to do. So that's one thought on the AI art. One story that I want to share is Naisha Green over at Master WP. She wrote an article talking about her experience with AI art, and she was using one of these programs, and she is a Black woman, and she is a web developer and a content creator, a senior engineer there. And she used a prompt for one of these AI image software generation platforms to create her as a fairy princess. And what did it turn out? It turned out a white woman. And not only, and she said in her words, it wasn't just like they were making my skin white, they erased my features and basically spit out like a white girl, basically. So that's another example of bias that is baked into AI. There's all kinds of other examples where AI and image recognition, facial ID, all these sorts of other things that are completely amplifying these biases, these isms that are in our society already. It's just not a good thing. So just be cautious, like using this for content generation and other things as well. Now, my advice to you is if you are using AI to create content, to create written content, you would want to have a human being with expertise in whatever field it is, reviewing this content and editing it to make sure that it's accurate, that it's giving detailed and interesting answers, that it is creating content that is going to pass the test if it is to be peer reviewed. My suggestion is you can pay a human being to create content that is probably going to be more interesting, more engaging, have more accuracy, more expertise, more personal experience insights that are contributed by this. And if you wanted to invest into original research, that is still going to be the best type of content that performs well. And you can look at anything that ranks, stuff that includes original research, stuff that has original research in it. That is like gold when it comes to SEO. That's the other thing too, is once you start doing this and everybody starts doing the AI content, it's all going to kind of seem the same. And there is kind of a quality to it. If you are really reading the content that's being turned out, there is kind of a quality to it that before it is edited by a human, it does seem a little robotic. It does seem a little cold. It does seem a little weird and awkward. And it does give you a starting point, but I would encourage you, if you are going to go down this path, use a human editor and some common sense. And please, if you are doing content for any type of situation where it's finances or legal or health or anything like that that can affect people's well-being, you would probably be a lot safer just having somebody write that from the beginning and not rely on AI content. I'm telling you, please, just go the safe route when it comes to that. Now, if you just want to use this for simple marketing copy or whatever, and then have a human on your staff look it over, that's probably fine. Lastly, I just want to iterate this to the people that are most gung-ho about this. I understand there's entrepreneurs out there. They want to create businesses that are based on AI. It is exciting. It is way more advanced than anything that we thought maybe could happen when we were little kids and we were reading science fiction. I want to stress this, and this can't be stressed enough. The goal with your machine learning content, your ChatGPT 3 content, it is not to pass some Turing test where you fool a human into thinking another human being wrote this content and not a machine. You're not trying to fool humans into thinking the machine is a human. Your goal with any type of content is to get people to take an action. It is to invest some sort of energy or action into a goal, whether it's making a purchase, whether it's signing up for your newsletter, subscribing to a channel, sending in an email, trying to get more information on your product or service. These are the things that you're trying to have happen. And if you don't have these things happen, then it doesn't matter how much time you save on the production end of making your content. It doesn't matter, because your goal is still not being accomplished. Your goal is to get human beings to take action. Your content has to be engaging, compelling, and convincing enough to get people to do that. And if it doesn't do that, you're not serving their goal. Well, my name is John Locke. My business is Lockdown SEO. That's all I have to talk about when it comes to AI content, machine learning content, and ChatGPT 3 for today. But if you have a question, or if you have a comment, if you want to disagree or if you want to agree with what I said, leave it down in the comments below. And I would like to close out with the question, what do you think about AI generated content, whether it's images, written content, or anything of that nature? What are your thoughts on it? I would love to hear from you. Well, this is John Locke for Lockdown SEO signing off, and until next time, peace.